Alien spacecraft approaching Earth. NASA in panic. Robot spiders found in Antarctica. Interstellar object may be hostile technology. In just 3 months, a comet discovered by astronomers turned into the biggest collective fraud of 2025. Not because of its real characteristics, but because of what people wanted to believe it was. This is the story of how the internet turned science into hysteria, and how millions fell for the most obvious trap of the year. Before we begin, you need to understand something fundamental. The problem was never the comet. The problem was what we do when we encounter something we don't fully understand. September 2025. The New York Post ran a headline that would set the internet on fire. Massive comet headed our way is bigger than expected. Could be alien technology. Scientist says. Within hours, the name 3I Atlas became a global trending topic. Millions shared theories about extraterrestrial invasions, secret military operations, and the imminent end of humanity. But at what cost? What was being sold wasn't a comet. It was fear in its purest, most profitable form. Clicks, views, engagement. The disinformation machine found its new fuel, a 5-kilometer celestial object traveling at 210,000 km/h that would never come close to Earth. This is the story of how the internet turned science into hysteria, curiosity into terror, and a rare astronomical event into one of the biggest cases of digital mass panic in 2025. July 1st, 2025. The Atlas telescope in Chile, part of a NASA-funded system to track potentially hazardous objects, detected something unusual. A magnitude 18 point was crossing the sky on the border between the constellations Serpens Cauda and Sagittarius. The speed, 61 km/s relative to the Sun. The trajectory, hyperbolic, the mathematical signature of an object that does not belong to our solar system. Just 122 observations from 31 different observatories confirmed it. This was the third interstellar object ever documented by humanity. After Oumuamua in 2017 and 2I Borisov in 2019, we now had 3I Atlas. Hubble quickly pointed its lenses. The James Webb followed. The images revealed a teardrop-shaped cocoon, gas and dust escaping from an icy nucleus. It wasn't an asteroid. It was an active comet, awakening as it approached the Sun. Scientists estimated its age, possibly 10 billion years, older than our own solar system. A messenger from a time when the Milky Way was still being born. The astronomy community celebrated a unique chance to study material from another star system without having to travel trillions of kilometers. But what began as scientific enthusiasm would soon turn into something much darker. July passed quietly. Specialist articles discussed the comet's unusual composition. Excess carbon dioxide, little water, presence of atomic nickel. Gemini North captured hypnotic time lapses, the comet gliding between distant galaxies like a cosmic ghost. But then came the aesthetic transformation. The psychedelic images that would go viral weren't manipulations. They were pure science being misinterpreted. When telescopes like Gemini South photographed 3I Atlas, they used multiple light filters to analyze different wavelengths. Blue filters captured gaseous emissions. Reds revealed dust. Greens indicated specific molecules. The telescope tracked the comet in motion, making stationary stars appear as colored streaks in the background. The result? Time lapses where 3I Atlas looked like a pulsating cosmic rainbow, a multicolored pearl crossing space. It was dazzling, yes, but it was standard scientific methodology, not magic. The reddish color of the comet came from irradiated organic compounds called tholins in its coma. The bluish-green hue in September? Probably cyanide and dicarbon being released as solar heat increased. But in the hands of social networks, scientific context evaporated. The images were cropped, filtered, shared without explanation. They began circulating with captions like, "NASA detects colorful alien object," and "Comet mysteriously changes color. Scientists confused." The psychedelic aesthetic became proof of something unnatural. The comet stopped being an astronomical phenomenon and became a cultural icon, a symbol of cosmic mystery and threat. September 29, 2025. The bomb went off. The New York Post published its sensationalist headline, citing Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, speculating about possible alien technology. The piece highlighted anomalies. The trajectory finely tuned to the planet's orbital plane, the absence of a traditional cometary tail, the exceptional size. The article, though it mentioned that Loeb considered it more likely to be a natural comet, buried those nuances under an apocalyptic narrative. Within hours, verified accounts began sharing distortions. One viral post falsely attributed to physicist Michio Kaku the statement that 3I Atlas was conducting a reconnaissance mission with possible hostile intent. The image accompanying the post? An edited screenshot from a February 2025 interview, months before the comet's discovery. Al Jazeera investigated. The screenshot was real, but completely out of context. Kaku never spoke about 3I Atlas, but the damage was done. 290,000 views and counting. Other theories multiplied, the military mobilizing to deflect the comet, governments hiding information, planetary defense exercises interpreted as secret preparation for impact. NASA issued official statements. Comet 3I Atlas poses no threat to Earth. The European Space Agency confirmed a minimum distance of 270 million kilometers, 1.8 times the Earth-Sun distance. But fact-checking agencies like Reuters, Al Jazeera's Sanad, and the BBC went into firefighting mode. Each debunking generated a new wave of skepticism. Why the rush to deny? Users asked. The attempt to calm things down fed even more suspicion. The secret of 3I Atlas was never its chemical composition or trajectory. It was the perfect chain of incentives that turned science into sensation. Let's see how. First, the algorithmic structure. Platforms like X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook prioritize engagement. Posts that generate strong emotion, fear, surprise, outrage, rise in feeds. Interplanetary comet detected is informative but boring. Massive alien object approaching Earth triggers dopamine and shares. Second, the creator economy. Influencers live off views. A viral post about 3I Atlas can generate hundreds of thousands of views, translating into ad revenue. Fact-checking takes time. Sensationalizing is quick. The pressure to publish first outweighs the responsibility to publish correctly. Third, confirmation bias. In 2025, belief in alien visits is on the rise. U.S. government programs on UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, legitimized the discussion. When 3I Atlas appeared, confirmationists saw not a comet, but finally, the proof. Data contradicting the narrative was ignored or reinterpreted as a cover-up. Fourth, the gamification of mystery. YouTubers created episodic series. 3I Atlas Update Day. 5. What is NASA hiding? The audience returned not for resolution, but for the perpetuation of the enigma. Solving the mystery would kill the content. Keeping it alive kept the views. The secret, then. 3. Atlas was profitable not because it was dangerous, but because it was ambiguous enough to sustain opposing narratives. Science and sensationalism coexisted, feeding off each other. While the internet debated aliens, real consequences emerged. Post-viral studies documented collective anxiety. Mental health searches spiked for End of the World 2025 and How to Prepare for Asteroid Impact. Suicide forums reported users citing 3i Atlas as justification. Children in schools expressed genuine fear. Parents reported sleepless nights trying to explain why the comet isn't going to kill us. Erosion of trust in science. When space agencies debunked threats, part of the population interpreted it as official propaganda. Existing political polarization contaminated even astronomy. Supporters of conspiracy theories accused NASA of serving globalist elites. Scientists received threats. Astrophysicists reported online harassment for hiding the truth. Resource diversion. Astronomical observatories were bombarded with requests to watch the comet. Scientists had to divert time from legitimate research to draft debunkings. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office issued near-daily statements. Resources that could have tracked truly dangerous objects were consumed managing public relations. Dangerous precedent. 3i Atlas established a template. When the next interstellar object appears, and it will, the disinformation machine will already be calibrated. The fraud infrastructure is built. It's just waiting for new fuel. The cost is not measured only in clicks or views. It's measured in destroyed trust, generated anxiety, and the weakening of the public's ability to process real scientific information. Who profited? Who was harmed? The chain is long. Traditional media outlets. The New York Post wasn't alone, but it was a catalyst. The headline followed a tested playbook. Use scientist says to confer authority, could be to maintain legal deniability. When confronted, they argued they were reporting legitimate speculation by a credentialed academic. Technically true. Ethically questionable. Niche influencers. YouTube channels specializing in space mysteries and alien evidence exploded. Some privately admitted they knew 3i Atlas was harmless, but the audience wants to believe in something bigger. Monetization justified compromising the truth. After all, disclaimers, usually buried in descriptions, covered legal responsibility. Bots and click farms. Post-viral analyses identified patterns, newly created accounts amplifying theories, identical posts from different users, suspicious temporal coordination. It wasn't 100% organic. Actors interested in sowing chaos, trolls, hostile states, or just merchants of chaos, rode the panic. Scientists. Yes, we also need to look inward. Avi Loeb, though respected, has a history of controversial speculations, Oumuamua as an alien solar sail. His hypotheses, presented as intellectual exercises, were ripped from context. But did he know this would happen? His blog post defending open speculation generated both illumination and confusion. The line between popularizing science and sensationalizing it is perilously thin. The ethical question. In an ecosystem where nuance dies and sensation thrives, what responsibility do those with a platform have? Freedom to speculate versus duty of clarity. There's no easy answer. But 3i Atlas exposed the tension brutally. October 29, 2025. Perihelion. 3i Atlas reached its closest point to the Sun, 203 million kilometers away. From Earth's point of view, the comet was behind the Sun, invisible. But space-based instruments, SOHO, Stereo A, Punch, continued tracking it. And then, the final data arrived. 3i Atlas showed intense and unexpected brightening. It became bluer than the Sun. For scientists, this was fascinating. It suggested heat sources or chemical processes not fully understood. For the Internet? Proof of alien propulsion. Even in the face of real anomalous behavior, the scientific community didn't panic. They published papers. They speculated within parameters. They proposed future observations when the comet would reappear in December. The blue anomaly became the 9th documented anomaly. Not evidence of aliens, but of a comet with exotic chemistry. After months of wild theories about non-existent threats, when a genuine anomaly appeared, it was treated with the scientific method. Reality fell short of the fiction the internet had created. The public, already exhausted by months of false alarms, reacted not with renewed panic, but with apathy. Another alien comet theory, huh? The climax wasn't an apocalyptic explosion. It was a fizzle. 3I Atlas passed perihelion, continued its journey out of the solar system, and will be observed through mid-2026 as it passes by Jupiter. Then it will disappear forever into interstellar darkness. No invasion, no impact, just science. End of 2025. 3I Atlas is already a memory. Another viral object has taken its place. There's always another. But the lessons remain, if we choose to see them. What's being sold isn't scientific yield. It's a sense of belonging. Theories about 3I Atlas didn't thrive because they were plausible, but because they offered community. Online groups united by a shared belief in a hidden truth. An identity built on being smarter than the deceived masses. A heroic narrative where you, yes, you, know what they want to hide. The appeal isn't logical, it's emotional. It's the promise of control in a chaotic world. If there's a conspiracy, at least there's order, even if it's sinister. The alternative, that comets simply exist, that the universe is indifferent, that we aren't special enough for aliens to visit us, is terrifying in its mundanity. 3I Atlas was a mirror. It reflected not the cosmos, but ourselves. Our hunger for meaning, our dependence on screens, our difficulty distinguishing information from entertainment, our desire to believe in something, anything, bigger than the oppressive routine of existence. The hoax wasn't perpetrated by twirly-mustached villains. It was a massive, decentralized collaboration, mindless algorithms, creators desperate for relevance, users seeking escapism, scientists trying to communicate complexity in a world that rewards simplicity. All of us playing our parts. So when the next 3I Atlas appears, and it will, because the universe is full of interstellar travelers, maybe we'll do it differently. Maybe we'll celebrate scientific wonder without manufacturing fear. Maybe we'll consume information with healthy skepticism, without falling into paralyzing cynicism. Or maybe not. Maybe this is the human condition in the digital age, destined to turn every space rock into a parable, every comet into a crisis. The choice, as always, is ours. If this video found its way to you, share it. But share it with context. Explain why it matters. Don't perpetuate the cycle you criticize. And if you learned something, if this narrative made you rethink how you consume information, then subscribe. Not because everyone is doing it, but because critical thinking, in this era of algorithms and anxiety, may be the scarcest resource of all. Until the next cosmic hoax.